Damn it. I don't know why I did that. Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truen. I am the host of Relatives Fight CPS, and I also work with attorney Vincent Davis. Um, I have a very special lady here. Me and her talked for a while. Um, I love her. I really do. Um, she's just gorgeous to me. She's just a naturally gorgeous woman and a mother. And she's been through hell and back like every other person out there. Today is Good Friday, you guys. And for those of you who are Christian, you'll understand that Jesus did not come and die for us on the cross for any religion or for a religion.
Mhm.
Jesus suffered a great deal for us to save us from our sins and save us from God's punishment. And we never give Jesus credit for anything. In fact, we blame him for all the problems we face day by day. But I want you guys to understand something that's very important. I've faced them too. I still face them. You face them in the workplace, you face them in your friendship role, with you among your friends, you face them with acquaintances, you face them with family. Either way, you face struggle. And oftentimes we blame God, we blame Jesus, like, if Jesus is real, why are we going through pain? But what we don't see is that Jesus never said we're going to have it easy on earth. He never said earth is paradise. Okay. So just for you guys to understand this, we should give him thanks even in the midst of our trials and tribulation and in the midst of our happiness. We should give him thanks.
Yes.
Um, we don't give him thanks enough. I am extremely sorry for all the mothers out there and fathers who lost their children and have to deal with holidays and celebrations and birthdays without them. But I want you guys to understand that there's always rainbow. There's always light. The rainbow is not for the LGBYT whatever. The rainbow is for God's promise. That's what the rainbow is. Okay? But the devil is using it to to make fun of
To
God.
prophesize their sick agenda.
Exactly. So, with that being said, if you guys think that evil people, such as social workers or somebody you work with, or your boss, or your coworkers, or your friends, or whoever, will get away with anything that they do against you, you're wrong. You're wrong because God will never, ever, ever make your enemy ahead of you. Remember that. God always promised that He will make our enemies our footstool, period. That's it. And He will. One way or another, according to His own timing, you keep on praying over these people. The more you pray, the more you're going to see God's promise right in front of you. Do not ever bow down to the enemy. Do not ever bow down to the devil. Ever. Because if you bow down to them, you're going to have to deal with their bullshit.
Mhm.
But when you put on the whole armor of God, right? And show the soldier that God chose in you. Believe me when I tell you this, your enemy will never prosper. And that's a promise from God. And I trust my God. And do not believe anyone that tells you they're Christian. The devil knows the Bible too. Remember that.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you happen to meet somebody that says they're Christian and you hear about Christian people killing their kids and stabbing their kids 28 times, and a Christian
You
dad
said
did
that
this,
God told me to do it.
oh,
No,
God
God did not
do
tell you
it.
to do that.
No. So and then they're trying to take the Bible out of school because they feel like it's dangerous. No, the devil is doing all that. Only the devil will say, I stabbed my child 28 times because God told me to. Of course, the devil is going to say that. It's not God. So let's not be fooled by all this crap. But they want to destroy Christianity so much because Satan rules them.
Hmm.
Okay.
They've all sold their souls to him.
Yep. No, you can't sell your soul. I learned that the hard way. I remember. I
Okay.
say that all the time. But the priest
Enlighten us,
told
Miss
you,
G.
yeah, said he said you can't sell your soul because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God because He's the only one that can give the authority to throw you in hell. So, with that being said, nobody can sell their soul, but they can be a puppet to Satan.
Mm,
They can be a puppet to Satan. And I refuse to be a puppet to Satan or his dominions or demons, whatever you want to call them. Okay,
the
so
entities, the demonic entities.
yep, do not be fooled by soft voices either. Do not, do not be fooled by that. Do not be fooled by people telling you that they're going to go on and beyond for you. Do not believe them either because they will show you by their actions who they really are. Okay. So when a social worker promises you to do something, that they're going to do something, and then their action is completely contradicts what they promised
Mm-hmm.
you know damn well that these people are never going to meet their promises because their promises are empty. Just like you work for someone and they promise you they're going to do this and do that for you and do this for you, never happens,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they excuse
Basically.
it. Yeah, is this true? They excuse it. Oh, it's because your attitude or because you're this, you're that. And you're like, what? But
Mm-hmm.
again, they inflict pain, then you get a reaction, right? You
Right.
show a reaction towards their bullshit and they blame you for the bullshit that they caused you. So
Right.
basically, either way, you're bowing down to the devil. So don't do it. Don't do it. You always speak the truth and walk the fuck away from them.
Miss G, I wish someone would have told me a long time ago, hey, when CPS comes at your door, you don't have to open the door for them. You don't have to give them access in. And if you think about it, well, this is my theory behind it, or how I vision. How, like, when they talk about vampires and stuff like that, they said vampire cannot come in unless you give them authority to come in. And I feel like that's what they are. They are draining of anything good, and they will suck you dry until there's nothing left. That's how I envision them. They're like vampires. They're evil, the evil entities that just come. What? I don't understand, like, who would take advantage of an innocent child and
A demon,
cause
a demon, a
it's
demon, a demon will take advantage. You know that.
and
A demon will take.
I grew up a Catholic, and at one point in time, I told my grandmother, I said, Grandma, how come we're not going to misa anymore? How come we're not going to church? I remember going to church with you at a young age and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, babe, we don't got to go to church to praise Jesus and praise God. We don't have to do that. You can do it in the comforts of your own home. But obviously, it was something that she knew, but she didn't want to tell me, like, exactly, like, why she strayed away from the church. And I think she's the one who knew that the priests, the Vatican, are the ones who are molesting our kids. And
Yep.
that is so sickening to me. So I kind of strayed away from Catholicism,
But
and
you
I try to
know,
seek other religions. But then
no, no,
I've noticed that every other religion has some type of pedophilia involved.
stop, you guys. Like I said, Jesus didn't come to die on the cross and risen on the third day for a religion. Religions
Right.
is man-made. Any to me, I'm first of all, you know that I'm not Catholic. I'm Coptic Orthodox. I'm from originally was born and raised in Egypt. I came here when
Okay.
I was 9 or 10 years old. But I still have my upbringing. Like even my dad and my mom brought it here to America. I lived my life as I lived it in Egypt. I lived it in America. I didn't go to clubs. I didn't do alcohol. I didn't do any of that. And my dad kept us from home, church, Sunday school, home, church, Sunday school. And in our church, our priests are married, right? They have a family. They have
Hmm.
they have wives, wife and kids. So when they relate to marriage couple that have problems with their marriage, for example, that the woman will go to the wife of the priest, and the man will go to the priest himself, and they will give them advice, to work on their marriage and biblical advice. And that's how my faith, you know my church believes, right? We're from the
Mhm.
old school church, meaning the beginning of Christianity. We believe from the beginning of Christianity. We don't have missing pages in the Bible. We don't have missing verses in the Bible. We don't have any of that. We rely on God only. And that's why, I mean, part of me sometimes want to be vindictive and hurt people that hurt me, but I don't.
Mhm.
I really don't. You know why? Because I remember my mom and dad's teaching. I remember how they taught me about God and how God will vindicate you, how God will always fight your battles for you. And recently I cried out to God when I found something that was not, that was so sadistically done. I cried out to God and I said, God, I really cared about this person. Please help me because I want to hurt this person. But that night, and that's a true story. That night, I had a vision.
Mm.
I had a vision, and I saw angels with weapons. And that was God's way of telling me, I got you. But He just wanted me to go to Him.
All right.
I'm telling you right now, you guys, I love my God. I love Him so much that every day I see His work in my life.
Mhm.
And my enemies will be my footstool. And that is God's promise, because God knows the intention of your heart. He knows what you're going through. He knows your dedication. He knows your loyalty. He knows it. And God will vindicate you. God will make you above your enemy in ways that you never thought could be possible. But no matter what title your enemy has, don't ever lose sight of God. Ever. And you guys will see what I'm talking about.
It's scary, Ms. G, that these individuals want to play God. You're
Yeah,
not God, and that's why things don't go in their favor when you're trying to play God. You're not. I've always believed that, me being a child of God, that there is some godly favors within me that He has instilled within me and my moral compass. And I know, like, I can kind of get I don't know, it's like a feeling I get when I meet certain people or just conversate with them, and I can know their true intentions. But sometimes I've been in positions where this person is far into the darkness, that they will manipulate their way into my life, like kind
mhm,
of like get through the cracks and slither in there. And now and then I'm battling strong entities in the flesh. And
yeah,
you know what I do? I pray to God and say, God, if this person is not intended to be here, I have that feeling. Can you please remove them, or please remove them fast?
yeah.
And Godspeed, please. And it never fails. Like, out of there, they're gone. But it takes, some of these people are really so far in the deep end. Like, the scenarios they create in their mind, they believe it's true, and it's just like, oh my God.
But who believes
I
it's
feel like we're
true?
all under a spiritual warfare, in a sense.
Mhm.
Like, we're all battling these demonic entities.
But who believes it's true when a sociopathic, narcissistic individuals will always inflict pain on you, letting you think, letting you question your reality. You know the truth, but they don't want to admit to the truth. So they're going to confuse you. They're going to tell salad words to you. Salad words is, you know what salad words is when you put salad, you have a salad plate, you have
Mhm.
tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, uh, dressing, and you have garbanzo beans, and you have this, you have that. It's just like a whole mixture of things. That's what a narcissist will do. Will give you a whole mixture of things, words, and you're like, wait a minute, but you said here and you said here, and but I have this proof and I have this proof, and then they're like, nope, no, not true. No, 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 not true. and then they get you to react so badly that you lose your mind, and then they
Yep,
look at you and say, "Look, she's crazy."
yep,
They're
that's exactly how they've been trying to tell me. Like I went to a
crazy. Yeah,
pre-hearing, whatever, for family court, and I had filed for a continuance so I can seek private counsel because they gave me an appointed attorney.
yeah.
This individual appointed attorney was the mediator for my oldest daughter's case and between me and her father. And
Mhm.
we always had inconsolable differences, but I tried to be the bigger person and still let him be a part of my daughter's life. And even though, from the beginning, when my daughter was conceived, there was a betrayal of trust. And all efforts that I did, everything, it was just like it was never good enough for him. And he used to always tell me that I didn't have no say so. And I was like, how can you tell me I don't have a say so over my daughter that I carried and gave birth to? You don't have any. That's all he would tell me. Like, I don't have any say so. I don't have any say so. And would just literally try to like keep her from me and kidnap her and all this weird stuff. And I filed police reports on him, trying to take my daughter from me, and I feel like it was a setup from the jump. He basically, right after I found out that I was pregnant, well, when she was conceived, and I found out, the way she was conceived, I was, of course, I was distraught. I was confused. I was upset because I only agreed to have intercourse, but through safe conditions, and the fact that he did not um like follow through with that and just basically impregnated me without my consent. And I, to this day, I did not know that it's a form of considered of rape. If I would have known that, I probably would have pressed the issue more. But he basically told me that he couldn't have any kids, that I was fine. And I said, well, can we go get a plan B? Because I already have one child and I'm already struggling as a single mom. And I'm back staying with my mother. I can't afford to bring another baby home, not having anything, stable, not a stable home or a vehicle or anything like that. It's unfair to bring another child into the world and not be stable enough to take care of them. And that was just my mindset. Like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And here I am 3 kids later, and I'm still doing it. I'm still taking care of them however God sees fit, through adversity after adversity after adversity, some kind of way. I've just been able to power through it all, just taking all the jabs in left and right, left and right.
Yeah,
And
and I want to ask you a question. Did they turn your family against you?
mhm,
Yep. So that's, remember what I told you on the show before. I know you watch my show.
mhm,
You follow my
yeah,
show, and I
mhm,
know
I
who you are very well. I just think you are just so gorgeous to me. You have such beautiful. I love your face.
thank
Um,
you.
but and your heart too. You have a good soul. Anyways, when I was mentioning on my shows how they love to divide people
They
against
want
you.
to take away all your support system.
They want to. And you guys have to understand, I told you this happens in the workplace, this happens in your friendships, it happens in your family. They separate you because there will always be a narcissist. We're always going to be
Mhm,
a narcissist. They actually did a study. They found that it used to be 1% narcissistic, in California, narcissism of people, 1%. Now it's way more than 1%. Narcissism is not born with. You're not born as a narcissist. You're
it's
not
a
born.
learned behavior, isn't it?
It's learned behavior from a young age. I was blessed enough to have great upbringing, meaning I have an amazing parents, amazing siblings, because we came from these two parents, right? And they both loved each other. My mom adored my father with respect and love, and so did my father. So I grew up watching this. I grew up watching and seeing this. Other kids are not as fortunate. Other kids grow up with a broken home, meaning the father is distant, the child never seen his or her mother, and the child
Mhm.
is raised by someone else, and the child doesn't know the mother love, right? The mother's unconditional love. Because again, no disrespect to fathers at all. My father was my hero and my
Right.
protector. My mom was my best friend. So basically, all my secrets were with my mom. All my troubles were told to my mom. My dad, I told him things if I wanted somebody's butt to be kicked as a little kid. I'd be like, Daddy,
Right.
this is what Monica did. Let me tell you about it. That's how I was. But, but again, a man is the protector of the home, the family. He's the
Right.
foundation, right? The
And
woman is
they're
all
trying to remove that man.
right.
And so that's what they basically kind of been doing. I noticed that they put like this. Sometimes I kind of feel like it's more of their personality, and they use our personalities or any issues from the past against us. Cause
Right.
like lately, all my mom and my sister been saying, "Oh, you're just jealous. You're just." I'm like, what exactly am I jealous of? Like, I'm trying to figure out like what am I jealous of. I I don't know. And then they have my children saying it too, and it went from my children crying all the time, waiting for me, waiting to see me, and then to now, like, they don't want to see me all of a sudden.
Yep. But your children always want to see you. That's what you guys don't understand. How many times have I told you guys I talk to children that grew out from the system? I speak to them. You guys don't know what I do. I literally volunteer. I've been volunteering since 2006, way before I knew Davis. So the passion that I have in me, way before. So you guys don't know what I do. I meet children that go out of the system. I literally help them get jobs. I helped several of them become financial advisors in the company I used to work for. And the boss
I
that I
was,
adore with all my heart. I loved my old boss so much because he would say, Georgette, okay, I'm gonna help them. He would literally send them to college. He would literally educate them. He would pay for their education to make them grow
when I
and
was
be
a little kid, I wanted to do that. I wanted to open a shelter for all the orphan children, and just to give them us that love, the love that I think
yes.
every child deserves. And as I got older and I was in abusive relationships, under false pretenses and just being um, young and naive and just kind of, being taken advantage of, I now when I sit back and think about everything, I just like, okay, I'm taking it all in, the good and the bad. It's just how I overcome them, how I overcome these battles and these obstacles, and not really let it take me down there. But because I've already been down to the bottom, I've been to a dark place in my life. I've had to get myself up out of that toxic um, energy and mindset of thinking of things. But even when I just didn't have any hope, like I was just so down and out, and then all of a sudden appears someone, and I feel like I call them angels, God's angels that come, and they're like, here, let me help you, you're not alone.
You
And
know,
so I try to pay
you're,
that forward.
but you're a victim of your past, Esperanza, and you're not your past. Your past is already forgiven. See, Jesus already forgave your past. The devil will always bring your past to your present because, see, a demon will only show sweetness and fake niceness until they get more information from you, and then they use that
Mhm.
against you. So a demon doesn't come in the form of two horns and a tail. A demon comes in the form of a human,
Yeah,
right?
they
So
use
that,
they
right,
use
that
them.
human could be anything. It could be your boss. It could be anything, right? So that human will tell you what you need to hear. And then you think they're the greatest people, right? Then you start opening up to them of your past, of the abuse you went through with your ex-husband or whatever the case may be. Then they come and use that against you. Jesus doesn't do that. So that's how you know them, by their works. Jesus, by their fruit. There you go. Jesus said, "You know your enemy by their fruit." Exactly the way they were brought up, the way they behave in front of you is who they are. So don't believe the fakeness. Don't believe softness in the voice, because the devil is a very
Tricky person.
person.
He's a
Like,
trickster. I think what was that one saying everyone used to say back then? What is the devil's greatest trick in the book? And that was um to make you believe that he doesn't exist.
right, he doesn't even exist, exactly. Because if he makes you believe he doesn't exist, then God doesn't exist.
Right.
He's so hurt that God casted him down. He's so hurt, and he can't get over it. That's how a demon possesses humans who are not protected by God. That's how they seek whomever they want to devour. They usually they usually seek people who already are dark inside. They don't care about other people. They have no remorse about the pain they inflict on people. So that's why you cannot just open your door to anyone. You cannot just sleep with anyone. Because whatever that demon has, you need to go cleanse yourself. You need to go fucking pray and ask God to forgive you for being with such a person. You
Oh my
got
god, like that's how my ex was. And
crazy.
he had his body was like covered in tattoos, and I never really just kind of paid attention to him till one day I was just observing him and looking at his tattoos. Yes, I like tattoos, but there's certain ones that I find a little questionable. Like literally, he had one on his chest where it's a man in a mask with a gun pointing at a woman that's praying.
Hmm.
And I always question, I was like, why do you like what's up with this tattoo? Why do you have this on you? Like, what does it mean? Because it just does, you know how you get that unsettling feeling inside? You're like,
Yeah.
something ain't right about this. And then you're like, you start questioning things. And then I used to see like this other demonic looking other tattoo of a figure. And I was like, what is that? And I'm just like asking him questions. What is this? And what is that? And what made you get this? And so apparently he did some prison time, but he lied to me about what he went to prison for. I try to look at the positive in it. Everyone is like, I not try to judge everyone on their past, but it's kind of hard, because
Oh,
when
no,
the
no, 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 no. Baby, when you are a woman and you're with a man, you better do judge him by his past, because you don't know what his past was like. You see, people get that twisted. We never should judge people, period. But if you want to have a child with this man, you better dissect this man before you have a child with. Now, we all make mistakes. I married a narcissist. I didn't know I was with a narcissist. I had no idea until, again, family court did a 7:30 evaluation, psych evaluation, and lo and behold, psychiatrist told me he's a narcissist. I'm like, what the hell is that? So again,
right,
narcissism come in a form where, again, they're charmers. There's a difference between a charming man and there's a difference between a charmer. A charmer is
mm,
a fake ass piece of shit, low bag,
he tries to reel you up in there.
asshole.
He's
Right,
got like a little hook,
right,
and he's just waiting. He's fishing
exactly.
for you.
Right. There you go. But a charming man that will respect you, that actually keeps his word, does not gaslight you, does not humiliate you, does not lie about you, does not start smear campaign about you. Your
Hmm.
loyalty should be with that type of person, not
Right.
with a man whose loyalty doesn't exist to begin with. You know?
Right. See, I had
So,
to learn that the
yeah,
hard way.
there's a difference. There's a
He
difference.
came, he would tell me about little things about his upbringing, And I kind of felt bad for him. And I was like, oh, poor guy. He's never had that loving affection from a mom because he grew up in foster home. He was taken away from his mother, or she gave him up something, and then the aunt actually adopted him. But she apparently wasn't the greatest role model for him either. Like, she even told me that she would take him to the bar with her, like, as a baby. Like, why would anyone take a baby to a bar? Like, that's crazy to me. And basically she would sell him to her friends.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
y'all, it's crazy. Like, if I could do like a Netflix documentary, like, I probably need to, just so people are aware. And like, you know, how we say, like I was saying, sometimes God sends angels. Well, the devil also sends his too, to do his dirty work as
They're
well.
not
So
angels. They're demons
demons, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they're
that come in the form of an angel. That's why God will
mhm,
always, believe me, God will always, always,
prevail.
always protect you, because those people that hurt you, God will send them another demonic person who is also a charmer, who in the form of a woman. If that person that hurt you is a man, that will get closer to that person and will do worse to him without him realizing it. And that
Mhm.
person will hurt him more than you can ever process. And that's what's going to bring his ass around. I'm telling you right now.
You know, it's crazy, Miss G. My daughter, my youngest daughter, I was cooking one day, and my ex was sitting on the couch, and I don't know, at one point my daughter, I guess, came in the living room, and she was like engaging conversation. So, as a mom, we're always like listening in the background, making sure, like, um, just being aware of the surrounding and stuff. And my daughter literally told him, she said, "You have a demon in you."
Oh, oh my goodness.
And I was like, did I just hear what I heard correctly? Like, what? And then he's like, what do you mean? And then she's like, yeah, you have a demon in you. Like, she like stood up with her power, and she's like, yeah, you got a demon in you. And she goes, I knew there was something about you that I didn't like.
How old? How
She's
old?
7. She just turned 7.
Kids are amazing.
And I feel, and he knew, and it's like he literally tried to separate me from my kids, or do, malicious things to them, and say things that
What?
just weren't,
No,
um, you
it was
know,
not. No, he will say things bad about you to your own kids. Like like example, if you work for someone and then they get a hold of your child, and like if you have an older child or whatever, and starts
mm,
trashing you to your own child, and your child is like, "Wait a minute, mom, my mom is not like that. Like, who are you talking about? Like, who are you trying
mhm,
to describe to me?" Because, but that sadistic person, right, will insist that his mother is like that. That's the moment your child will come to you and say, "Hey, mom, there's something wrong about this person. You're
oh
dedicating to
yeah.
this person that
He
is
tried his
not
best
normal."
to
Right.
separate all of us, and separate. He did what he did to hurt me, because he knew that my kids were everything to me, and he literally wanted me to take him back and just basically say, my kids. And I was like, are you freaking out of your mind? Like,
Yep.
you or nobody comes before my kids. Like,
Yep.
I'm like, that's weird to me, and for you to even like ask for that is mind boggling, and it's not right.
No, it's not.
And then he tried to basically convince me that, oh, his aunt and uncle went through the same thing, and they stuck together, and da da da. I was like, good for them. I was like, I'm not sticking by. I was like, I don't even bow down to my daughter, to my kids' fathers. Like, when they're in the wrong, they're in the wrong. I don't bow down to them. And I was like, and I stick
Hey,
to
he
my
wanted
ground.
you to bow down to him.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's when a man tells you to call me daddy or bow down to me or I am Jesus. That's when you need to run.
He calls himself Pretty Boy Lucifer, and I was like, that's not something to be it just he makes me so sick to my stomach, y'all. Like the fact that, and that's what I was saying to people. He came off as a charming person, and he really wanted to help, and the whole time he had a hidden agenda. And as I was getting closer and closer to revealing who he really was, it was pissing him off, and he wanted to gaslight me, threaten me, say make false accusations and false narratives in his head of what was going on. And I'm just like, the hell is wrong with this
I
guy?
know.
Like, and he cloned my phone, so he was like getting all my messages, all my emails, and using my getting my friends information too. Like, he was sending messages to my friends through my Facebook and Messenger, but then deleting them so I wouldn't see them until like my friends would call me like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, why are you sending me this crazy message?" Like, I didn't send you anything. I don't know what you're talking about. And then they screenshot it and send it to me, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't me. I didn't send that. It was him. It was him the whole time.
That like I said to you guys earlier, you could work with people like that as well. Okay. The sad part about it is the outside world don't see why you react to certain things, and
Mm.
they gaslight you to the max, and then they trigger you so everybody thinks you're crazy and you're not.
Yeah, like he tried to get my friends to go against me and talk shit about me towards them.
Yeah.
And these are people that know me for years, so they're like, "Yo, like, what you're not gonna do is you're gonna come over here and talk about my friend. Like, I've known her for years, and she's not even that type of person. And really, it's you. You just need to leave and leave her alone."
Yeah, I know. You know, guys, you have to be careful who you entertain because at the end of the day,
It's
knowledge
scary. It's so scary,
never
Miss G.
everything. I know it's scary. Believe me, it's scary. Yes, but
I
you
don't
guys
want to entertain nobody anymore. That's how scared.
know. You know what? You know what's hilarious? Not this your situation is hilarious, but what's hilarious in life is that men are not men like they used to be. Women
Definitely.
are not the women that should be. A lot of us. Oftentimes we meet men and women, but there's demonic women out there too, and there's demonic men
Mhm.
out there. We have to be very careful who we are entertaining. That's the problem. My mom used to say, "Who you sleep with enters you because you are the receiver. The man is the giver." Remember that. The man is the giver. The woman is the receiver. You don't want to receive bullshit from a man that is giving you something.
Mhm.
Because what he's giving you is nothing worthwhile. You need to keep that in mind. So who you entertain will hurt your children and will
Or
hurt
who
the
you
woman
let
in your
inside
life.
your temple.
Yep, it's not worth it. And believe me, there's a lot better good men out there. And God blesses you with one when you least expected. One that was right under your nose, right?
All right,
Right
but
under your
like
nose
you
and
said, you
didn't.
have some that are great pretenders, and they pretend, then they will fake it all the way through until you're like already caught up with them very seriously and head over heels, and then you start seeing their true side. Like, I honestly feel like you don't really know a person until you start living with them, until you start being around that person
No,
24/7.
that's not the only truth though. You know a person when you confront them with their bullshit.
Mm,
When you start seeing their bullshit and they gaslight you because you figure them out, they will taunt you and make sure that they smear campaign your name to everyone they know to make sure no one speaks to you.
mm.
That's how you know. When you, first of all, demonic people do not take criticism very well, right?
They don't know how to take accountability either.
Accountability at all. I literally don't think they do anything wrong. They want the people with them, even people that work with them, to keep telling them how great they are, how wonderful they are. They're the best. They're this. They're that. They do no wrong. That's what they want. If you mention that they did something wrong and that hurt you, they're going to continue to do it. Now you're giving them power over you because they know what hurt you. And you, they take something innocent and they twist it around to make it into something that will traumatize you for the rest of your life. And again, you don't have to move in with them to know that. That's wrong because you're living with them in sin. You don't want to live with someone in sin. So again, you need to rely on God. Give them tests, you guys. Test them.
Right. See, I think that's what we should do, Miss G, is us women that have already been through the narcissistic abusive relationships, give advice to the younger youth. That's what I want to do. I want to give advice and spread awareness to them so they know when they're being gaslighted and being manipulated, and instill these things in them, because no one else is doing it. There's I haven't seen any support groups for the youth that are teaching them.
Hmm.
If anything, I see groups where they're grooming them.
Grooming
And
them, exactly. I've seen, listen, I told you I volunteer, and I've seen other people with me, and that I literally exposed them to themselves, and I literally told them to get the fuck out of here. Like, literally told them, get out. I don't want to see your face here again. But they're telling children it's okay, just make sure you use a condom. They're telling that to a 14 and a 17-year-old.
wow, that's
That's
crazy.
That's not how you help children. I helped several young ladies who became now financial advisors with the stock exchange market. They
Hmm.
are literally financial advisors now with the help of a great man I used to work for. And I love
Hmm.
him to death. I love him, and I will never ever forget anything he does that is right. Because I told him how passionate I am of helping young children. And he took a couple with him, molded them, got them to learn the system extremely well, paid for their education to get licensed. They got their Series 7 and their Series 65, and he got them licensed. That's over like freaking $7,000 each, right? Over. So he paid for them. And they called me later on. And these are kids I met, you guys. I had rings in their tongues and rings in their, private areas and rings in their here and rings in here. And it's like the whole face was all ringed up.
Oh
And
my god.
yeah, now you see them, they're wearing business suits, they're young adults, they call me Mama Bear, and I love what I do. The only reason I continue to do this for Davis is because I love bringing awareness of what will hurt you and what not to do. Because when you've been through trauma, you don't want others to go through trauma. Then that becomes your passion. It becomes everything you want to do because you really want to help people. And
Hmm.
that's what your enemy always focuses on is your vulnerability, your
Hmm.
compassion, your love for others. And that's how they woo you in, making you believe false promises, right? So
Yeah.
again, and I know you and I, as Esmeralda, talked about this, and I want to do a show dedicated only for young children. And you can be a co-host with me, and also for women, because women, you guys, I'm in my mid 50s and I'm still learning about life. Because remember, I grew up with two parents who didn't teach me that there's evilness out there. They taught me to be careful, and they taught me to be only married once, right? But unfortunately, sometimes your divorce is not in your control. It's not up to you. And sometimes you get married to the wrong person, you get involved with the wrong person, and then you pay the price for something you didn't know nothing about. So educational programs is important for everyone because men also get stuck with narcissistic women. There's one right now that I know has a narcissistic coworker, and that person is just getting what he deserves. That's
Oh
all I
yeah, they
can
come in
say.
very different forms, and it's scary,
Because
uh
evil will always trick you. When you're evil, they will always trick you because they both are evil and they're both using each other. They just don't know it. That the other person,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? They just don't know because they're both evil. So think about it. At the end of the day, they will destroy one another. Remember the snakes that devoured the other snake? They're from the same
Mhm.
family, but they swallow each other. That's
God.
exactly what happens to your enemy. They will swallow each other, and God will make you sit down on a very luxurious chair and you're just watching and saying, "Praise you, Lord." That's what you will be saying. Remember that. These people have no control over you.
Right.
You control them because God has you.
My thing is, yeah, I feel like you have to be very evil
Mhm.
to call CPS on someone to get someone's children taken away. I mean, I feel like if you were really trying to help the person, go help them. What did you do to really help them other than wanting to see them get taken away? You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't understand that part of where people will usually use CPS to destroy someone for whatever evil agenda that they have. Um, and they wouldn't like it if it was done to them.
Actually, not really. No. A narcissist doesn't care about their children.
It,
They really
um,
don't. It's only in front of people that they love their children somewhat, like fake love. But behind closed doors, they really don't love. They don't love anyone. They only love themselves. They love the control they have on their kids, but not their kids. So again, right now, you guys, I want to also bring awareness to something that's very important. A social worker doing your visitation that asks you if you have any teeth missing, be careful with that.
when they ask what now?
If you have any teeth missing, because now I'm hearing more and more as I speak to people that they're using missing teeth as a reason that you're doing drugs.
Oh wow,
Yeah. And
that's,
oftentimes, yeah, oftentimes if you have decay in your mouth or whatever, because you don't go to a dentist or you're homeless or you're not taking care of yourself, whatever the case may be, they say that you use drugs, which is not true. It's not true.
mm-mm. I lost this tooth from an accident that I had as a child.
But see,
So
they
my
will
brother.
see something like that as you're doing drugs and you're not. But you
Oh
understand
wow.
that I know you're not doing drugs, Esperanza. You and I talked a lot. But I know that. But what I'm telling you is that that's what they're using nowadays more and more. Everyone I speak with, they're like, "Let's see." My first visitation, the social worker asked me for missing any teeth. Why is this that important? And I said, it's not important. But that's weird, right? Then I get another call a week later from someone else. They're being asked the same thing. So it's a trend now where they're asking parents if they're missing any teeth. What the hell? And they're also asking
That's
parents,
crazy.
"Oh, hey, by the way, do you have any tattoos on you?"
Oh, we can barely afford health insurance, and much the less dental insurance. They have everything skyrocketing so high
Oh, I know.
that you can't even go get your teeth fixed. I really had to go to Mexico just to get the bridge on my tooth that only lasted for like a year, and it broke off eating some hard taco, and I actually swallowed part of it. But here they want to charge me like over 2 grand just to fix this one little tooth. And you know what? I've learned to embrace it. It broke my self esteem because I always had like a really pretty smile. Everyone's always complimented on my smile, how straight my teeth are. And now it just, it's kind of even hard to smile at times.
Yeah,
Like it
you
really
smile. Your
messes with
bottom
me.
teeth shows. Mine doesn't. See, your bottom teeth shows though. That's so weird. Smile again.
Yeah, they do.
So smile again. Now I see it. Yeah, now that you showed me, I didn't see it before. That is, yeah. But I have to do a bridge. I have a bridge that they need to do, and for my teeth, because I'm diabetic, so it does affect my teeth a lot. And the bridge alone, insurance doesn't cover it. And you know what
Hmm.
a bridge is, right?
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. That's what I had done on my tooth.
Yeah, and that shit is expensive.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's 3,400.
That's why I went to Mexico. I got mine done for like $80. I got all my fillings replaced and redid, and they fixed the bridge. But like I said, I guess with cheap materials, you get what you pay for. That
Oh, they use cheap material. See, I'm afraid to go to Mexico because I just don't want to. I don't want to. I'm
it's just
good.
like who can you trust now? Like I was like, if you want something done, you better learn how to do it yourself.
You can't. You cannot. There's no way I can deal with the dentist trusting me because as is, they need two nurses to hold me down just to inject me.
I'm terrified when we go. I never really realized how many people are terrified of going to the dentist.
I am.
But after these past few years, and when I'm going, like I've never really been scared of the dentist until recently as an adult. The methods that they use, like they're really inflicting pain on you. The Novocaine or whatever they use is not numbing the area, and they're just yanking your teeth out. What it looks like some damn pliers. And I had to stop one and tell her, no, back up because you're hurting me. And she's like, no, you can't do that. And I said, the hell I can. I said, lady, you better let go of my damn teeth because you're hurting. You're causing pain and pressure. You're trying to pull a molar that is deep embedded into, our jawbone. That stuff is not, when I looked it up, the actual procedure to do it, they're not supposed to pull on it. They're supposed to break it down into pieces and take it out piece by piece to it, so that you're not causing more pain than necessary.
Yep.
I should have
And
went to school to be a dentist. I really should have, or some
no,
type of dental hygienist. I
that's
uh,
okay. My niece is gonna be a dentist, so it's so good. I mean,
okay. Well, when she becomes a dentist, tell us to let us know so she can fix our teeth.
I was like, we need a dentist in the family. We need this in the family. We need that in the family.
Something.
We need heart
And you know
surgeons
what
in
I've
the family.
noticed with these dental places too, with the dentists, the eye doctors, the healthcare providers, they'll tell you, "Hey, this is wrong with you," and that's not true. They're only seeking ways to get more money. So when I went recent, like the past 2 years,
They do that with the children
I
too.
was going
Yeah,
blind.
yeah.
I was going blind. I was how do you call it? Like when you don't believe. I was in denial, because I was like, I always had 20/20 vision, like I always seen good, and then like driving at night was really bad because the lights from the other cars would just blind me, and I used to be cussing and just going off like, oh my god, like why are you putting your bright lights on me? I can't see, and I was like, you're putting my life in danger. Turn off your bright lights, and then one day it occurred to me, I was like, what if it's not? I was like, everyone can't be shining their bright lights at me. Maybe it's just me.
You know,
Maybe I should
um,
go get checked. And
yeah,
I went
I
and
have
got
I
checked.
have eye problems because of my diabetes. So if when I go to the eye doctor, he always checks my eyes and it changes. So if my blood sugar is up, like today my blood sugar was up. It depends on circumstances I deal with, stress.
Mhm.
So my blood sugar goes up. Sometimes it's like 400, sometimes it's 350. You know, it's really high. So as soon as my blood sugar goes up, my vision changes. Then I start
Hmm.
not be able to see, and I have to write in big writings, and I have
I
to
wonder
explain.
if that's what's wrong
Yeah,
with me because it happens like
could
that
be
periodically
diabetes.
where
It could
my
be
vision would get.
diabetes. Yeah, you need to check it out because sometimes that's why they call it diabetes because it's like a deadly disease. It's very people are not they don't know and they're not aware, and it just not good. And it's usually caused by stress. It's not what you eat. What you eat after you develop diabetes, then yes, it will affect it. But before what you eat, you could be the healthiest person, the most amazing woman, man, whatever, health wise, and then all of a sudden you go through trauma and you get diabetes. You're like, what the hell? Right? What the
Well,
freak? No?
I'm
It's
gonna
bad.
tell y'all a story about a dentist back when I was younger. I was having like a toothache in one of my molars, and he apparently said that it wasn't that molar, that it was my wisdom teeth growing in. And I said, well, I'm not having any problems in the back. I'm not experiencing any pain. And he got my mom and convinced her to getting my wisdom teeth removed. And after the whole operation and everything, then this I had to wait through the holidays because it happened like around Christmas time. Oh, it was awful, and I had to wait till like all the way until like early January just to go get seen. And I just remember being in so much pain and just crying, not being able to eat the good tamales that we had, for the
And that's,
holidays.
and that's
I
another
was
thing too.
jealous. I was like, everybody's eating good, and I'm over here like holding on to my mouth. And so I literally, I went, once January came or whatever, and they were open back up, and I was able to go get seen. They took my wisdom teeth out, and then I was still in pain because it wasn't my wisdom teeth; it was that molar, that
Yeah,
back molar.
there you go. It's not a wisdom tooth. It's a molar. I have a one too right here that's growing in. So the tooth next to it is normal size. This one is going in my gums and it hurts. And the doctor's like, well, at least my dentist was honest. He said, sweetheart, that's not your wisdom tooth. You already removed your wisdom tooth a long time ago. This is a molar. I'm like, oh my God, I can't remember when I removed. But anyways, he knew it's not a wisdom tooth. It's a molar. So a molar is not the same. It's not the same at all. So, anyways, he said what he can do, he can fill it up. I mean, fill it, like do a root canal, make it a root
Mhm.
canal, and then give it a fill or a crown to make it normal. You know what I mean? Because it's going in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So some of them will come in crooked or vertically
yeah,
and
right
kind of
now,
push
yeah,
your teeth
see,
together.
yeah, like right there, it's already pushing, and he doesn't want that for me. So he said, you know what? He's trying to get it approved by the insurance, and the insurance is not covering it. You know, again, you have to come up with money in order for you to get your teeth done, unfortunately.
Right. And
But that's why,
earlier I
yeah, but
mentioned
that's,
I'm a survivor of human trafficking. And
yeah,
so what they did when I was trying to escape from a whole nother kidnapper, I say kidnapper, but just whatever, another human trafficker. They basically put me in the hospital. And once in the hospital, I didn't even know that they locked me in the hospital. Like I was under hospital, whatever. Like when they pretty much lock you up. Like they came, picked me up like at 3 o'clock in the morning from the hospital and took me to another hospital and wouldn't tell me where they were taking me. None of that. It was they just basically had they took me into some office and there was like several people standing there, a doctor, the sheriff, and I'm not gonna lie, I fought all of them because I noticed that one of the doctors had a big syringe that he was hiding, trying to hide behind him, where they were gonna inject me, and which eventually they did. They had got me, and I took off running out of the office, and they're like, just let her. And when I let, like I was of course panicking because I was trying to escape, and there was no escaping. Like those doors, when they close, it's over with. And I pretty much, I don't remember anything else other than I woke up in a recliner in a room where they were just like watching, observing me. And I guess like in this room, you have to be there 72 hours or 24 hours observation, and then there's other people in another room, and like it kind of looked like a living room because everybody was like hanging there. Everybody's like in a recliner type of thing, and everybody's just like watching TV. And it was weird. Like it was so many people in there, y'all wouldn't even understand. Like
yeah,
there's people in there that don't know that they can get out, that they're not, they have them confined in those hospitals, and they're in there. Oh my god, they find out that you have any type of insurance or money, they are gonna drain it any way they can possible. And they double dip. They get it from your social security trust fund, and then they're also getting it from your insurance too, and billing it to you
Crazy,
so you
right?
can.
Yeah.
It's
So you guys
awful.
have to be careful. I mean, all you young folks out there, especially young ladies, women, please be careful out there
I
because
tell all the time my niece to stop listening, stop getting in the cars with random people.
right.
It's so easily to just feel bored and want to go hang out. But just understand that you're taking a risk everywhere we go. Everywhere we go, y'all, we take a risk. You could be going to the store. You're taking a risk. Like there was a young lady here where I live.
Oh wait, no, 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 wait. I have to tell somebody. I have to tell somebody. One of you guys this real quick. This like it was. When was it? It was last night, and it hit me this morning. I was thinking about it. Last night, it was after 7 o'clock. I went with my daughter to get something from the market, and then this lady out of nowhere. I swear, I'm not joking. Out of nowhere. Thank God that my car automatically locks as soon as we drive. It locks automatically, right? And the windows were up, and that woman went bam, bam on the window. It scared the shit out of me. Like I have a heart issues, right? So I just
Right.
I had to take a deep breath because I got so scared. And if I get scared, then I can't breathe. Then I need my inhaler, right? So, anyways, I just looked at her and she looked so demonic in the face, so weird. And she's like, "Put the window down. Put," and she's yelling, "Put the window down." And I'm like, "The like, I was like, no, put the window down. And I was like, get behind me, Satan. And I just went, goodbye, walked away.
Okay.
I mean,
I
drove
would have
away.
been
Yeah.
scared.
And then she was trying to intimidate me. And I'm like, I was like, no, I'm not putting no damn window down. Get away from me. As soon as I drove around and I came back to see that woman, right? You saw like two police units, lights ringing, right? Right? They just took her ass and put one of them took her ass and put her in the car with handcuffs. I don't know what happened. All I'm saying is to be careful, make sure your doors are locked, make sure your windows are up.
When you're human trafficked, you
Yeah,
know, that's what the
careful.
traffickers do. They put you on drugs, really
Mhm.
high, psychopathic drugs that to make you lose all
Yeah,
awareness, to escape from your traffickers, and in any moment that you feel
to
like you're
women,
getting
not just kids. Women,
yeah.
women, women, adult women. It doesn't matter what size you are. It happens to
Just
all
imagine
women.
us as an adult how scary it is for us. Imagine a child. Oh my god, I can't. I don't understand. Like I don't. I I I I remember being a child and just crying and praying for all those innocent children that are being harmed by someone. And I was a young child, you know,
Yeah,
but I have those vivid memories how I used to pray for them and I used to cry. Um, like I was given a gift as well of just seeing, having visions in my dreams, or just even when I'm wide awake, and it's kind of scary. You know, it was scary at one point in time because I wanted all of it to go away. Like I didn't want to keep seeing things, and it was just kind of like taking a toll on me, and eventually it had stopped, but then eventually it came back. And now I just embrace it, you know. I take it for what it is. I've
yeah. I mean,
um
we need to do a show about that. You and I talked about having a show just for uh, bring awareness to young ladies and men too, young men too,
yeah, all of them,
about
because
trafficking.
it's on both sides. You
Yeah,
have evil women and evil men, and you just never know. One thing I do remember when I was younger, my grandmother, she was very, very, very wise woman, and she went through a lot of adversity too. And you know, I always questioned a lot of things that she would say and do, and then when I look back on it, you know, wow, I was like and I could never understand why she kind of like showed that tough love. She wasn't as affectionate. If she was and she wasn't, you know what I'm saying? She would have her days. And then, I kind of just like remember a lot of things that she would tell me, and she would tell me that human trafficking was real back then as a child. She's where she would mention organ harvesting and using the children to traffic drugs and organs. Like they, she said that there was a little girl on the train with this woman, and the woman had the little girl wrapped up in a blanket and just, kind of pretending like she was asleep. But everybody started noticing it was weird that the little girl never made a sound, never moved, and the lady would just kind of like rock her back and forth when she would think that people were like looking at her, or, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of throw it off. But then, like, people started noticing that her lips were turning blue, her face, her color was changing in her body. You can't stop what is it, postmortem. You can't stop it.
No, but
And
again,
so,
I think it takes a couple of days for your body to decay. I don't know how it works, but again, be careful because CPS also places children in harm's way. We're talking about CPS places children in sex traffickers' homes, and CPS places
mhm.
children in sex offenders' homes. I mean, how many stories have we heard that the social workers put two teenagers in a sex trafficking home in New
Oh
York and New
yeah,
Jersey
I've
and
had some friends
The
that
Bronx? Yeah, the kids are
they
being sex
were for
trafficked.
church going people, people in the church. They're
Yeah,
pastors, and they sit there and molested these kids and messed them up so bad that they are damaged. Um, you know, I tried my best to help some of them, get out of that in certain environments that
you
they
have
were
to help
in.
kids, you guys. You guys, anywhere you go, have compassion on children. Have compassion on people who are suffering. Um, have compassion on homeless people. People who are homeless. A lot of you guys out there think that they're homeless because they did something wrong in their lives. Don't ever judge people because a lot of them are homeless because of situations that they couldn't go up against. Meaning they were evicted or their idiot bosses did not pay them or whatever the case may be, and just understand that compassion will take you a long way. Will take you a long way in life. And we
Well,
need more compassionate people in the world. We need people who actually give instead of just
I
being
uplift the
egoistic.
homeless people. I tell them,
Yeah,
hey, look here, I don't have a lot, but here's this. What you do, it's on that's your business. I just want you to stay prayed up and stay lifted and get back on your stuff, get back on your feet.
amen.
And there's some people that you really kind of gotta get astray away from them a little bit, because like I
Yeah,
said, some people will drag you down and they will use your kindness for weakness, and that
yep.
little that you give them, they'll take it and run with it. And so it's a
I
very tricky slope.
But I have to end the show now, baby girl. But you're more than welcome to come back again, and maybe we can talk about doing a show just for exposing sex trafficking for children. Me and you.
Yes, ma'am.
Why not? Right?
I have like so much
Too
knowledge.
scared. I know. But we'll talk about it. Can you call me later on tonight around 8 o'clock my time, 8 p.m. my
Yeah,
time?
yeah, that's fine,
Okay, don't forget though. All right.
ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone that's listening. Please be aware, open your eyes, and just look around. Things that don't seem right, it
They're not
sometimes
right.
they're
They're
not
not
right.
right. Run. Just run like Forrest
Right.
Gump. Run. Yeah. All right. Forrest,
You're
run,
so silly,
Forrest,
Grace.
run.
I can't even take you seriously.
I love
Love
you.
you. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Bye, baby girl. I'll talk to you later.